Hello everybody, back here again for a vlog a day, and today is Friday the 2nd, and today was a lovely, beautiful day to be alive. Got up this morning, fairly decent time frame. Dogs were not too bad for me, wasn't much. Got up, got everybody out, got everybody back in and separated and fed and all that stuff, and it takes a while. And basically before I got into that, I was like, it's not worth the time frame. So I just let them all play and ran over and fed the cats instead. So I get that knocked out of the way right away. And then I came back and did all the separating out and feeding. So instead of trying to rush the dogs, it's easier to get the cats done, have that done with and over. And that was my last day watching the cats on this trip. So it worked out well for me. So I was able to basically get that all fixed up, make sure all the males put away and all that kind of good fun stuff that comes with the cats. So they also did reach out once they got back, which I always really appreciate. Let me know they're home, they're alive, then I don't have to worry about taking care of the animals ever again, kind of thing, until the next time. So I always have that little concern when I have people getting back, especially if they're like getting in late and like a flight or something gets delayed or whatever, and the dogs are stuck there overnight, or the cats don't have food the next day, kind of deal. So I had one of my clients that actually dropped because they refused to let me know they got back home. And I'm like, well, I'm concerned about these animals' well-being, and you should appreciate that about me, because it seems stupid to not want somebody to care about your animals, and all it takes is a simple text, and you'll text me back and forth all the time. It's just not like you're like, oh, I don't have access to a phone. So I literally, they're like, hey, can you watch the cats and stuff? I'm like, absolutely not. And they're like, what? I'm like, no. I said 5 times I had to basically chase you guys down on the last 5 trips, that like 5 texts to get a response that you were alive and you were home. I was literally on my way there, and that's when you finally responded saying, hey, I'm on my way there because it appears that you have not gotten back and these animals need care. So then you responded back immediately stating the fact that, oh no, we're home, we've been home since blah, 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 which tells me bullshit. So at that point, I had an extra 24 hours of worry in my life that I don't need to deal with, so go away. And that happened. So luckily, these clients are not that way. These clients are super awesome. Let me know right away that they're back, which is always great. And they always let me know if there's any problems or anything at the house, anything up with anything that's out of place or out of whack, and it works out really, really well. So went ahead from there, got the dogs all back here, got them all fed, got them all taken care of, had a couple dogs getting dropped off, actually a bunch of dogs getting dropped off today, 4 dogs getting dropped off, 1 dog got picked up, had a meet and greet schedule out, and basically during that whole thing, and I reached out, and it was kind of a sort of a last minute meet and greet, that the trip isn't coming up for a while, but they had that kind of just get it over with, get the meet and greet done, so it all goes well, and if it doesn't fit, they can move on. And I told them, I said I could meet today at like 10, but I have dogs getting dropped off, dogs getting picked up and stuff, so make sure you touch base with me before you head over to make sure the other clients are not going to be here at the time, because if the meet and greets take a little longer, drop-offs and pickups don't take very long at all, but I don't want to be in the middle of a meet and greet when a drop-off happens, so it makes life a lot harder on me. So they said understood completely, reached out, they still on. I said yep, got everything, should be good to go. And if for some reason it does get pushed back, if traffic or something, the pickup, if they get pushed back too far, I'll make the pickup push back, or it only takes 5 minutes to do a drop-off or a pickup. It doesn't take any time at all. So everything was good. Dogs got dropped off. 1 dog got picked up. Everything was fine there. Went ahead, did the meet and greet. She showed up. I went out and met her outside with her German Shepherd, her intact, non-neutered male German Shepherd, that she just gave off the energy that she was a little bit scared of. And I was like, well, let's take the dog around here and make sure it pees in the yard, because a non-neutered male is much more likely to want to mark in my house, and I don't want to mess with that. So got the dog outside, got to pee on a couple items, and then we headed in. And the moment we walked in the house, her energy level went like way off the charts of like nervous. And I was like, well, new house, strangers they don't know, whatever, whatnot, could just be it, no big deal. And didn't really think much about it, and didn't really key on it, because a lot of times people get weird about when you point out that they're super nervous, or it sometimes tends to make things worse. So went ahead, said held it, and let the dog wander around a little bit. The dog was pretty excitable, not the most, not trained hard at all kind of thing. And then she's telling me other red flags that I kind of thought, whatever. One of the big ones was the fact that she has to give the dog a toy. She was excited to see that her dog picked up one of my dog's toys, because that's how she keeps her dog from biting her. Well, I mean nipping me, is what she said. biting me. I mean, nipping me. That's where I'm from. Like when she lets the dog out of the crate, she literally gives it a toy the second the door opens, so the dog doesn't bite her. And out of excitement and joy, I'm like, oh, there's some problems here, but whatever. So let the dog, I finally got the dog to calm down some, got everything all kind of settled, and then we chatted a little bit. The dog was good to go. I thought, well, it's probably just shitty owner when it has different energy in the house. The dog will be fine here. We'll give it a try, see how it goes. So I went to tell her I was going to go get Bruce, let the dogs meet, and she reaches for her leash, and I'm like, no, do not put your dog on the leash, because just stay seated. Do not put your dog on the leash. That's not how they're. She goes, well, doesn't my dog need to be on a leash? I said, absolutely not. Your dog does not need to be on a leash, because that's not how it's going to live here. It's not going to live in my house the whole time on a leash. So that makes no sense to put the dog on a leash right now. So she's like, okay. So she basically sits back on the couch a little bit, love seat. I go back and get Bruce. The dog follows me, open the door. Dogs get along great. Everything's fine, hunky-dory. Now as they're sniffing each other and stuff, everything's great. We're coming back to the dining room, kitchen area, coming back to the living room where she's at. As we turn the corner, the dogs are kind of spinning around. Dog's a little bit excitable and stuff, no big deal. And we get there, she's then stood up and like rushing towards us. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So she's rushing towards us. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, oh, like we need to sit down. She goes, oh, she's like all freaking out. I'm like, you need to sit down because your dog right now thinks that you're leaving. So the dog's getting excited because it thinks it's gonna go for a walk or it's gonna go out kind of thing. So listen to me. She said, I won't sit down. I finally threw her. I said, sit down. She goes, oh, I just can't. And then of course, well, she's now getting nervous because I'm telling her what to do and she's not listening. So I'm raising my voice of like, hey, you're ruining this, you know. And she's like, oh, my dog got attacked at the meet and greet yesterday and da-da-da-da-da. And I just hollered at my dog and it's like, get back in the room. So I told him to go in the room. He heads back in the room. Her dog, of course, then follows. So I have to basically pull her dog back out of my room so I can go. And then she's like, oh, why did this happen? I said, well, it wouldn't have happened here. But you've ruined this whole thing where we were talking for quite a while. You had plenty of time. You could have very easily just said, hey, not for nothing, but I had a bad experience yesterday, I would explain to you, this is what's gonna happen, this is how it's gonna go, this is what I need you to do, you know, yada, yada, yada. My dog's met thousands of dogs, literally not had an issue here at all. This is how it's gonna go down. That's why I said, you've ruined it. Like now the energy in the house with your dog is crazy and I'm just not dealing with this shit. You got a dog you don't train, you got a dog you don't care about, you know, a dog you don't care about enough to go get training and you're not willing to listen and you can't follow simple directions and you need to go now. So, which I felt a little bit bad. I was pissed off. I'm like, what the hell, you wasted my damn day putting all this shit at risk and stuff for stupidity. But she drove like an hour, you know, because apparently nobody else around wants to watch a unneutered, you know, 100+ pound German Shepherd that's not trained. So yeah, the one chance you had, all you had to do is take a moment and say, hey, this happened to me. This is my concern. I would have happily walked you through all of it. But I did take the time because I'm a much better person than I act sometimes. And I took the time to explain to her, this is why this went poorly. This is what you have to do next time if you have this happen. Or better yet, why don't you just find a sitter that doesn't have other dogs. It only takes one dog at a time. You're gonna pay a little bit more for that and just find that situation and then move on. Or spend the money, get your damn dog trained. Let's go get dog training. So I basically booted her out of the house as quickly as I could. I was happy to get rid of her and just annoyed the crap out of me. You put your dog at risk, you put my dog at risk, you put us, the whole stupidity, because you weren't willing to tell me you had a bad experience yesterday. So yeah, people are dumb. But never amazed me how dumb people can be. So I went ahead from there, they got out of there, I went ahead and got the dogs all back out and played with, got them all together, everybody's having a good time, everything's going good. And then had another little dog got dropped off, a little white, beautiful little fuzzy American Eskimo dog or something, like a little miniature thing, I don't know what the hell it is, but super sweet, a little neurotic, a little skittish, a little runny. And I let him outside with the rest of the dogs, and it looked like a greyhound race with a little white flag up front, because that dog was running laps, and the rest of the dogs were chasing the hell out, and they were having the time of their life. The dog would stop, and the dogs would all sniff her, and then she'd take off running, the dogs were chasing her, and she was having so much fun. But she gives me the energy, and the owner even says she's the type that if the door's open or the gate's open, she bolts and she's gone. So I left a Dollar Tree leash on her, kind of help if she ever would get out, or even here, I can just kind of step on the leash when she runs by to help kind of catch her a little quicker. And the woman thought, that's a brilliant idea. She goes, I might do that at my house. So we kind of had a good little joke about that. But dogs are getting along great here. Everything's going good. One of the dogs I watch, they had some issues with the old dog that is having issues with white dogs apparently. So I'm like, no big deal. I had a white and tan dog. They'd all been getting along. Everybody been getting along fine. No problem at all. I watched this dog dozens of times, and something happened. I'm not sure if they're at another dog sitter's house, but it wasn't here, or a friend's house, or what, or dog park, or whatever it is. But every time they drop the dog off now, they reassure me, that remind me that the dog has issue with white colored dogs. So I'm like, yeah, it's a pure black lab, you know, just jet black, old, grumpy at times, but it is what it is. So everything's going good, but I'm not gonna take a chance with that big ass lab with this little tiny white fuzzball. Not worth it. So I basically decided they're now separated out, no big deal. But the little white fuzzy thing, rather be inside hanging out with, you know, people in the house anyway. So that's what we're doing. Everything's going good. Dogs are in and out, back and forth. Then in the evening, end up having another dog get dropped off. So now I had 4 new dogs in the house here. Everybody's getting along splendid. Everything's fine. The lab that has an issue with white dogs was outside with them, and I was just heading back in, wash my hands, come back out, and they're out there on the patio. Everything's going fine. Just out of nowhere, I watched it. I saw it happen right there in front of me. Just turned on one of the other dogs, which is a black dog also, and just went after him, and like just went after her like crazy, like hard. And usually, one good yell will get the dogs to knock it off. Didn't this time. I had chasing after her and stuff. I kind of had to put my hands on her, get her pulled back apart. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? So I brought her back inside. So now that dog gets to live on her own until they pick her up in a couple days. So stuck her back in the room. No harm, no foul, no injuries, no nothing. Just a lot of anger and a lot of issues there. So that dog got put in the back room. It's got its bed, it's got toys, it's got all kinds of stuff, perfectly fine, food and water. And it'll get taken out when those dogs come in the house. It'll get put on lead, taken outside, and then brought back in, so on and so forth, and it'll spend its time isolated because now it apparently hates white dogs and black dogs, and can't have that shit. Not how my life works here. So that was a stressful moment. And of course, my wife and mother popped their heads out in the windows looking like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, it's fine, I got it all covered, it's all good. Like, whatever you do, not open the door. You know, do not come out here, because this does go poorly and go sideways. I do not want you guys out here, because then I got to worry about you, not just the dogs. So went ahead and got that all settled in. Everybody was good. Went and got my, I'd had my run done earlier in the day. Everything was fine then. Got a self shower, did a little yard work here and there, and then had ourselves a nice little chicken noodles. Mom used like a flat noodle, just like a bag noodle instead of like a frozen, like an egg noodle. And I liked it better. My wife thinks their noodles are better, so don't really care. Whatever my wife likes, she can have. So, but that's what we had for dinner. Watched a little bit of Seinfeld, headed back out with the dogs, let their dog back out, you know, on leash. Brought it back in after I was heading in for the night, after my cigar, starting their print and getting everybody put where they need to be. Kind of separate out a couple of dogs in the one room with my Great Dane, just because they were wanting to play more. I didn't want them keeping everybody else riled up. So everybody else in the bedroom, and the little white fuzzy thing apparently is an only dog and rarely ever goes around other dogs, like at parks and dog daycare and kind of stuff. First time dog's ever been, you know, boarded or anything. So it's one of those things where the dog is every single sound the dog is freaking out on and barking and yipping and barking and yipping. I'm like, oh, you gotta be shitting me. So now I got this dog like next to me trying to keep it calm. So I'm literally wrapping the leash around my hand as I'm like trying to hold the dog from running over the door and barking the door with the other 2 dogs outside the door, and it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So yeah, got no sleep. The most I checked my sleep timer, and the longest it went from out me being up and either trying to tell the dog to shut up or basically, you know, dealing with the dog, was it had 29 and a half minutes. It was the longest time. Most of them were about that 15-20 minute mark. The dog would freak out and stuff. So no sleep at all, and it was so much fun. But it's a good test run. The dog goes home tomorrow, late tomorrow. So, but yeah, and I already felt like I didn't want to watch the dog anyway because it's freaking me out every time it's outside. I'm always concerned. Any dog that just wants to bolt any chance against, even with the owner, not a dog I want to watch, because I could not imagine how much like anguish that'd be on my body and my mind if a dog escapes on me and I can't ever get the dog back, gets hit by a car, it's not my fault. So I'm just going to lower my risk of that and not watch this dog anyway. So, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.